The heat of the moment. Show us your way. Anyway, the Miami Heat became an NBA team in 1989 as part of the great expansion of the late 80s and involved Orlando, Minnesota, Charlotte, and themselves. Miami had a terrible start. They actually had a 17-game losing streak in their expansion season. That was really bad. And, some thought that Miami was being a little too watered down. Miami would not get the recognition it deserved till the mid 90s when they took on Chicago in a pair of key matchups in the 90s in Michael Jordan's second act as a Chicago Bull. Although they could beat the Bulls, they still were decent. The Miami Heat would be in a forever playoff rivalry with the New York Knicks, especially in 1998 when the New York Knicks had a golden chance to do well in the series. But unfortunately, a major fight ruined their season, and they had to sit out some players due to suspension, and that ruined the next 3-1 series lead. Anyway, the Heat in the 2000s were decent. They packaged themselves pretty well, but it wasn't until 2003 when they got their best piece. In fact, he was the number 5 overall pick. LeBron James went first, Darko Milicic went second, Carmelo Anthony went third, Chris Bosh went fourth. So Miami, seeing Dwayne Wade and see how good he was in the NCAA, said, well, let's take a chance on this guy from Marquette. And they did. Dwayne Wade was a very good pure shooter and all that, and helped the Heat to the 2006 NBA title, shocking the Dallas Mavericks in the process. In 2007, in 2006, they picked up Shaq, who wanted to leave Los Angeles. So the Heat had a reliable center, and Shaq and Wade were going to help Miami rule the world, but it didn't really matter much. However, in 2010, they made a bigger splash. They got LeBron and they got Chris Bosh to form their big three. Ironically, those three players were drafted in the same year, 2003. That's kind of nice. Even though the Heat never had Melo or Milicic. I mean, 3 of the top 5 guys in that draft playing for the same team, that's inconceivable. So anyway, the Miami Heat in 2011 promised their fans lots of championships. 2011, though, Dallas got revenge for their 2006 shocking loss. The Heat came back in 2012 and 2013 to win back-to-back titles. 2013's was more exciting as Miami was within inches of losing in Game 6 to San Antonio, which meant they would have lost the title. But Ray Allen hit a clutch three-pointer to force Game 6 in overtime, and then the Heat won that and Game 7. The Heat would then get burned by the San Antonio Spurs in the 2014 finals. They just had nothing. No answer for Kawhi Leonard. So anyway, Miami unfortunately lost their confidence. And unfortunately, LeBron went back to Cleveland. And Chris Bosh basically had injury problems and couldn't play at the level he was. And Dwayne Wade stayed in Miami for almost all his career until he went to Chicago a couple years ago. So yeah, the Miami Heat have disappeared. Oh, by the way, Miami did fall in the second round to the Toronto Raptors in the 2017 NBA playoffs. Or was it 2018? I think it was 17. So anyway, the Miami Heat's their what if situation has something to do with the 1999 season. Okay, granted, the 1999 NBA season was strike shortened. In fact, it was the last of the big 4 leagues to have a strike shortened season. Baseball had a strike shortened season in 94, for example. Football had theirs in 82 and 87. Hockey had theirs in 95, but the NBA never had a work stoppage until 1999. 98, 99. And then they put together a 50-game season. And Miami won the division, won the conference, and would take on the number 8 New York Knicks, who surprisingly slid past Charlotte to get that 8th and final spot. The Heat were expected to make quick work of the New York Knicks because basically the rivalry was hot. Unfortunately, no one told the New York Knicks that they were an 8 seed. Well, in a normal year, the 8 seed would be a little bit farther back from the 1 seed because they were 12 games back or something? Well, Miami was fantastic. Miami, unfortunately, mishandled New York. And the Knicks won Game 5 on an Allen Houston 0.8 second runner. Of course, best of 5 back in those days ruined things for the Heat. They could have come back to win Game 6 and 7. You'd never know. So anyway, the 1999 Miami Heat lost the first round to the Knicks, who then proceeded to get to the NBA Finals by hook or by crook. So anyway, the 99 Heat will be featured in this What If. And the What If has to deal with the 33-17 Heat facing their next opponent, that being the 4th seed Atlanta Hawks. So the Atlanta Hawks would have been Miami's playoff opponent in the second round. Now, of course, the NBA doesn't reseed, unlike NHL. So anyway, the Hawks and Heat started off Game 1. And the Heat easily beat the Hawks 101-80. 13 points by Steve Smith, the guy from Michigan State. Mookie Blaylock, 11 points. Dikembe with 8 points. Grant Long and Tyrone Corbin as the big 5. They also had LaVonso Ellis, who was part of the 94 Nuggets that shocked everyone. Alan Henderson, Mark West, Anthony Johnson, Ed Gray, Rashawn McLeod, Chris Crawford, Jeff Shepard, and Shamon Williams. Jeff Shepard, I think a couple years ago, won the title with Cleveland. So anyway, you got yourself Miami, Tim Hardaway, Alonzo Mourning, P.J. Brown, Joel Washburn, and Dan Marley as starters. Terry Porter, the old veteran who played for Portland in the 90s with a couple of NBA chances on the line, scored 11 points. Clarence Weatherspoon, remember him? He was still around. Rex Walters, Keith Askins, Mark Strickland, Sean Leonard, Mark Davis. Mark Davis was still around. Marty Conlon, Jamie Watson, Dwayne Coswell. Yeah, weird. Game 2 saw the Hawks shockingly win 81-79. We're going to head to the 4th quarter overtime to give you stats and all that. The final minutes, it was 79-79. Steve Smith made a steal, but Tyrone Corbin missed a floater. P.J. Brown gets the rebound, but Mookie intercepts the pass and then gives it to Steve Smith, who banks it on the glass. Jamal Mashburn tries a jumper in the final second, but unfortunately he got spud-headed to him as he missed. And Steve Smith got the rebound, and the Hawks won 81-79. Steve Smith with 23 points. Great job by him. Mutombo and Corbin. Miami, all 5 of their starters in double digits. Well, they all played 30-plus minutes. So, I mean, Blue Edwards. Oh, Blue Edwards, cool. So anyway, at 1-1, we head to Hotlanta. And Miami pulls off one, 89-87. It was 83-78 Heat before Dikembe Mutombo got fouled. He got the end one, like 83-81. P.J. Brown made it 85-81 with a jumper. Grant Long got a dunk. P.J. Brown then got a close shot, 87-83. Steve Smith got blocked, but Mutombo is fouled by Tim Hardaway. He makes one free throw. Alonzo Mourning gets fouled, but misses both free throws. Mutombo got the rebound. Steve Smith couldn't connect for the three-pointer to tie the game. Jamal Mashburn makes 2 free throws. Mookie Blaylock hits a three-pointer, but too little too late. I love you. 18 from Alonzo Mourning. Every starter got double digits. Mark Strickland, 7 points off the bench. Mookie Blaylock, 18. Grant Long, 17. Great job there. No Chelsea anywhere else. Whatever. What's up? Whatevs. So anyway, overtime back in Miami won the overtime period 17-8. So they won 106-97. 32 from So in 45 minutes. 19 from Mashburn. Mark Strickland had 15 points in 19 minutes. That's amazing. Dan Marley only had 3 points the whole time, and he played 41 minutes. Makes you wonder what he was doing. Mutombo with 44 points. Well, Grant Long actually fouled out of the game for the Hawks. Mashburn had 5 fouls. So Steve Smith, 10 points from Ed Gray. Man, that's weird. So the Heat are up 3-1. Game 5 sees them beat the Hawks 93-89. A close game, though. Hawks put 16 from Blaylock, 15 from Smith and Long. Anderson 11 off the bench. Alonso, 35 points in 35 minutes. Tim Hardaway, 14. Jamal Mashburn, PJ Brown, double digits. So they're up. So they win the series 4-1. Now they'll face the Indianapolis Pacers. Now you'll be thinking, Pacers. Yeah, that's the team that the Knicks lost to for the Eastern title. And I forgot to mention that if he messed up, San Antonio would get the championship, obviously. Both teams 33 and 17. I don't know how the Heat got ahead of them. Man, 67 for the Pacers. Nothing doing. 17 from Reggie Miller. Mark Jackson, Dale Davis, Rick Smits, and Chris Mullin are your front five. Jalen Rose sitting on the bench 26 minutes. Antonio Davis there, a couple of former members of the Knicks and Raptors from 2001. Travis Best, Sam Perkins. Wow, that's Derek McKee, Austin Crosher, Al Harrington, Fred Hoiberg, Mark Pope. Yes, Sam Perkins. He's been around for a long time. I don't know how long. Alonso put up 27 points in 36 minutes. Hardaway with 10, PJ Brown with 10, Terry Porter with 11. So dominant. Alonso would be the Heat won 113-97. Oh, 21 from Reggie, 19 from Smits. 3 men with 20 from Miami. Alonso, Tim, and PJ. So, yeah, 24 points. That's good for PJ. So they're halfway home. And the Pacers win again. Well, win by 23 at home. 17 from Tim Hardaway. Nicely done. Reggie, 29 and 32. Wow. Antonio Davis scored 14 points. So, yeah, Reggie Miller, baby. But the Heat put up a 34-point win the next day. 28 from Tim Hardaway in 36 minutes. Reggie with 10, Mark Jackson 13, Travis Best with 13. So yeah, 3-1. Game 5 sees the Heat win 106-90. So again, they win in 5 games. They could win the title. Not to take on the Spurs though. 15 from Chris Mullin. 13 from Reggie. Alonso's got 27. PJ Brown's got 22. Terry Mills, I don't know if I mentioned him, but yeah. Great job by these guys. So the Heat will face the Spurs. It's like, wow. Well, the Spurs won 37 games. I didn't know that. I thought the Heat were number 1 in the whole thing. Good old Sean Elliott. You know that tippy-toe three-pointer? 37 and 13. The Spurs couldn't be bought. 101-77. 16 from Alonso and 15 from Hardaway. Nothing else happens. 16 from Tim Duncan, Avery Johnson, David Robinson, Mario Alley, and Sean Elliott were the starters. Malik Rose, 12 points. I think, oh no, it was Malik Sealy. I thought it was good. Malik Rose died in a car crash. Jerome Kersey, veteran of the 1990s Blazers. Jared Jackson, Antonio Daniels, Will Perdue, Steve Kerr, a pair of former Bulls in the late 90s. Gerald King, Andrew Gaze from Australia, if memory serves me right, and Brandon Williams. So yeah, good. The Spurs had a couple of former Bulls with them because the Bulls were clean house. And the Spurs won again, won a 184. So 18 from Alonzo Mourning, 13 from Mashburn, 25 from Duncan, 18 from Robinson. So yeah, the Twin Towers looked good. Halfway home. Halfway home, we see the Spurs narrowly beating the Heat 196. 25 from David Robinson, 21 from Ellie. 18 from Jerome Mashburn. Mark Strickland, 12 points off the bench. Nice job. But it's not there. And the Spurs easily took care of Miami in a sweep. Man, that wasn't even close. 101-86. 23 from Duncan. 26 from Mario Ellie. Mario Ellie with 26. Wow. Former Rocket guy. 17 from Alonzo Mourning. Wow. Mario Ellie coming out of freaking nowhere. Spurs didn't come out of nowhere. They came from somewhere.